better than what we did before. Because it gets me. This is BOBcast.
BuffaloBrotherhood.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Buffalo Brotherhood. This is BOBcast, our weekly podcast. This is episode 107. Yeah, 7. See, I was getting there. I was going to go.
7.
I was going to go bilingual and give us like in the Spanish translation. But
Seventh heaven.
A whole new connotation now.
107.
I'm Ryan. Alongside me, as always, is
Mike.
And across the table from him.
That peaked out.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. Sorry if you just wrecked your car. We apologize. We don't take any responsibility.
They don't drive in Iceland.
They shouldn't listen to us and drive.
Really? That's the best time to listen to podcasts.
All right, maybe, yeah.
They just need to shut up and drive.
Who are you?
Doug.
Okay, Doug is here.
Doug.
I learned something. Today.
I'm just going to talk like that one. What was that one woman? Didn't she do...
Doug and Ryan?
She did the lamb chop or something, remember?
I don't know.
What was that woman's name? But she talked just like that.
That did lamb chop?
It's about the...
Carol Channing. You remember she didn't do lamb chop.
She didn't do lamb chop at all.
What did Carol Channing do?
Lamb chop was
we're hitting this hard.
Sherry Lewis.
Yeah, but that's not Carol Channing.
Carol Channing.
No, but that's kind of how lamb chop sounded, I think.
Maybe
that's where you're getting the lamb chop.
I don't know.
Carol Channing, wasn't she in Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice?
No.
We just inadvertently said it 3 times.
Oh.
No, isn't she? Didn't she play his agent?
No,
when he went to,
no, I don't know who that woman was.
To be
but
dead?
It wasn't Carol Channing.
Well, when did she die? I'm pretty sure she's dead.
Carol Channing? Yeah,
Maybe
probably.
Not. Maybe not. No, I don't know. Hold on.
You still haven't found it?
I think she's still alive. She's 95.
Carol Channing?
I'll tell you somebody who got old that I didn't realize, and this is you guys probably don't care, but we're doing some famous Hoosiers, looking into some famous Hoosiers.
Yeah.
Florence Henderson was born in Indiana. Did you know that? The mother of the Brady Bunch?
Yeah.
82 years old right now.
Really?
82.
You know who else is born here?
Who?
Axl Rose.
That's right.
He's 54.
Lead singer of AC/DC?
Yeah. I haven't heard it yet. I have not listened to that.
Do you think they're going to change the tempo of all their songs to speed up and then slow down and then speed back up again?
No.
You don't think so?
No. Why would they do that?
Because that's how every GNR song ever worked. They speed up, they slow down, they speed up. You didn't know that?
I mean, I guess.
Every Guns N' Roses song has a fade out part, and then they come right back in.
Patience doesn't.
No, it starts slow, speeds up, then goes slow again.
Patience never really takes off.
It takes off. The third act.
I've been walking the streets at night.
Exactly.
Just trying to get it right.
I'm not going to join you.
I like that song.
I can't even. Yeah. I know. I love how you immediately get the hands up and start to move the hips.
You have to.
Apparently.
That's how he does it. He grabs the microphone and he wiggles back and forth.
20 years ago he did it a little different than what you're doing it now, but I'm
trying
sure
to figure out why Carol Channing's so famous, because she's really like nothing like completely like the Carol Channing show.
She's like Rip Taylor.
Yeah.
Like
why is Rip Taylor for throwing confetti?
I really do think that you should spend the next 20 minutes really researching that out. And then I expect like a full report.
Really?
A full report.
I love how he tries to use this. He's trying to deflect us.
You know
to
who
get
else
us distracted.
Is from? You know who
I'm
else
not trying
is
to
from
get you
Indiana?
distracted at all.
John Mellencamp.
Oh,
That's
really?
Did you guys know that?
Yeah. Really?
You knew that?
Wait,
Yeah.
Are you being facetious?
I'm just playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Davis too.
Yeah?
Jim Davis.
Wow.
James Dean.
Well, yeah.
Is that what the show's going to be? Like famous Hoosiers?
people from Indiana.
We can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that if you want.
What was the guy from Blind Melon?
The guy from was he from Indiana?
Yeah. The
What
lead
was
singer.
his name? He's dead now.
what is his Moon? Is that his last name?
Shannon Moon.
Shannon Moon. Was that his last name?
Damn, if that's right, I'm impressed.
It's Shannon. You're right.
Oh,
but I'm not
David Letterman.
Yeah, David Letterman.
Shannon Hoon. Hoon.
Just
He is
probably pulled the
from-
Shannon out.
He's from Lafayette as well because he sang on one of the Guns N' Roses songs.
Oh, really?
He did backing vocals for one of the Guns N' Roses songs.
Is that how Blind Melon got their start?
No, I don't think
Blind
so.
Melon.
Don't they know that all
that
melons
Black
are
Hole-
actually blind because they don't have eyes?
Is that Johnny
what?
Carson? Everybody, is that Black Hole Sun?
That's Soundgarden.
Sound.
Orville Redenbacher.
None of those guys are from Indiana. None of them.
Yeah.
Colonel Sanders is actually from Indiana.
Yeah.
William Henry Harrison.
Ambrose
Was not
Burnside.
from Indiana, but
Benjamin Harrison.
Benjamin Harrison lived in Indianapolis.
Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Larry Bird. That's true.
Isaiah Thomas was from Gary, Indiana.
John Dillinger.
Michael Jackson.
There you go.
Colonel
Janet
Harlan
Jackson.
Sanders.
That's what I said. Colonel Sanders. Or okay, so it's like the combination of the gum and the voice now. Like I don't.
What?
Nothing. Keep going, man. You got it.
Nothing. I'm just
The gum gets a little annoying.
Shelley Long.
Shelley
Yeah,
Long. Yeah.
There's
Who else?
There's a Diane. Is Diane? No. There's
Cole Porter.
Yeah. I knew that.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
Babyface.
The singer.
Yes.
Okay.
Not Nelson.
Yeah. Who
Yeah,
else?
Florence Henderson.
Who else?
Jane Pauley.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Jane Paul.
All the Jacksons, basically. Steve
Of course.
McQueen's from Indiana.
Huh. I did not know that.
Kurt Vonnegut's from Indiana.
Well, I knew that.
Yeah. Meh.
Bunch of
David Lee Roth.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg Kinnear, Brandon Fraser, Jim Jones,
Well,
There you go.
Mick,
How about that
Mick
Kool-Aid?
Foley. How could we forget Mankind?
Where's he from?
I
You
don't
stay
know.
on that list. I'll look him up as you find him there, and then maybe give
Yeah.
me a time frame here on Bloomington.
This is really good podcast.
Mick Foley's from Bloomington.
Is he?
Yeah.
Adam Lambert,
Yeah. Knew that.
Yeah. Thanks, the voice or American
Sidney
Idol.
Pollock.
Sidney Pollock is from Indiana.
I don't think that's who you think it is, Ryan.
Film actor, television actor.
I'm thinking the
Sidney
black
Poitier.
man.
That's Sidney Poitier.
Not the director, though, right? I'm thinking the guy from In Heat of the Night.
Yes, that's Sidney Poitier.
That's the same person?
No.
No,
Oh.
Sidney Pollock is an
The
actor.
director. Like the first African American director to win an Oscar.
No. That's
Sidney Poitier.
That's Sidney Poitier.
And then Pollock is the guy that was in The Heat of the Night.
No.
No.
Sidney Poitier. The black guy in the heat of the night.
Is who?
Sidney Pollock
It's on
directed
first.
Tootsie.
Okay.
Gus Grissom.
And they shoot horses, don't they?
Which one
Dan Quayle.
won the Academy
Dan
Award?
Quayle.
Dan Quayle.
Sidney Poitier
Okay.
did.
Vivica A. Fox.
Huh.
Pretty
Yeah,
comprehensive
There you
list here.
go.
I did
There
not
you
know
go.
that. I'm guessing it's
I
Wikipedia.
did not know that.
I did not know that.
There you go. And knowing is half the battle.
So she's 83?
80. Yeah.
Florence Henderson.
I mean, to me, she's like eternally my mother.
How
but-
old's her machine?
What machine?
Mm-hmm.
Florence. Different Florence.
Yeah.
Different Florence. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we can keep going with these. So, did you guys go to the Civil War?
No.
Go
You
see
didn't?
Civil War? Yes.
Yeah. I went to the Civil War today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of Civil War?
Which one?
The one you care about, I guess.
Are we talking about that in this episode?
Well, I
Yeah,
don't-
we have
okay.
to.
Oh, we
if
have
we
to?
put it in another episode, it'll be another weekend.
Oh, that's
man.
true. That's true. I liked it.
Man, I don't know
Wow.
why we
That
keep
was-
like.
Yeah,
Boom.
we're like really hot.
Well, yeah.
I know, but we're like really hot within the ear holes.
I don't know.
know.
It happens.
I saw it right before you guys, and I sent you a message. On,
Something about the plot hole, which I didn't know what you were talking about.
Well, I didn't want to, and I talked to Mike about it earlier, and I put a thing on our Facebook.
Yeah, I
page
saw
since
it,
then.
but I thought that they talked about that in the last movie.
I went back and watched.
They didn't. I talked to Josh Bird, friend of the show, never been on. He said that it's not mentioned.
Then why do I don't know. I thought when I was watching the movie, I thought that I think they talked about that in the last.
There's an assumption that he found out through the 8 years of whatever of trying to chase Bucky down that he knew that. If you haven't seen the movie, stop now. Spoiler. But what we're talking about is the process of Captain America knowing that Bucky killed Iron Man's parents. So,
or don't say Bucky, the Winter Soldier.
The Winter Soldier. I like to call him Bucky.
Well,
it was the Winter.
It's like Gollum and Smeagol.
Yeah,
it's
there's
like Gollum
two different kind of. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So, but
Winter Soldier number 1.
Yeah, killed his parents named Martha. But
it's a good thing that Iron Man's parents.
Mom named Martha?
No.
Oh, okay.
Good name. Yeah.
It's a good name
I don't. I don't remember what his mother's name was.
Okay, so I got some notes here basically about the things that I wanted to talk about on Civil War. The plot hole was the big one, but we can kind of lay some more groundwork and maybe come back to it.
Maria Stark.
Close.
That whole scene when they de-aged Robert Downey Jr. How unsettled were you?
I thought it looked fantastic.
I did too. It looked better than when they de-aged Michael Douglas.
Now we talked about that. Were you? Oh, no, you weren't with me. When we left the theater, Courtney and Rusty, friend of the show, we were discussing. I was talking about when Rogue One was first announced. I'd heard a rumor somewhere that, and just stay with me, that Tarkin was going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
And that it was going to be the most expensive, I guess, for amount of screen time that he was in it, reconstruction digitally of an actor that had ever been. And I wondered almost if they're not using this technology as kind of laying the groundwork for, is that really true? I mean, because I don't know if that was 100% CGI or exactly how they did that with Robert Downey Jr. and Michael Douglas both.
I think it was their body.
That actually goes all the way back to the first Captain America, though. When they did Steve,
right?
They had his face, but put him on that really scrawny body before he got the serum.
See, I think that's backwards, though. I think this was Robert Downey Jr.'s body, but they did his face, you know.
But I understand. But I think they sort of did that same.
Yeah.
It was a different body, but it doesn't matter what body it is. It's the face you're putting on and the actor's projection, the way the actor is doing it. I think this one was really interesting too because it looked really good and looked really real, but then you realize it's supposed to be a hologram, and then to me it was like, oh, okay, it even looks even better now. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Because now it seems like something that could be projected in this like fake sci-fi world of Tony Stark.
They're lucky with him because there's so much screen footage of him as a younger guy. You know, there's so much stuff from when he was doing Brat Pack stuff.
Like Michael Douglas is the same though. I think for both of them they had it. So
so I mean,
if you're not sure what we're talking about, Ant-Man had a pretty extensive scene where Michael Douglas was much younger.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to think if I even really noticed that he was that much younger in that.
Michael Douglas?
Yeah. Compared to this, this was very obvious. Like I think it was more obvious.
Got right up in his face, and like because to me like I didn't quite understand what was happening. I was like, that's a really bad. Why?
Well, I thought it was like a flashback.
Yeah,
but it was like a very.
I think it was
vibrant flashback.
Yeah, I think it was a flashback. It just they did a really good job of working a flashback into a sci-fi movie. Make it not a flashback. Be able to tell a linear story by just using technology to sort of tell the flashback themselves.
It was very clever.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was really, it was interesting, but. That was one of the things I wrote down on my notes. The other thing I wrote about was, and I just want to ask before we get going here, who was, you had Cap, and this was Iron Man 4. This was Cap 3 and Iron Man 4. I mean, Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr.
And Avengers 3
had as much screen time as
Avengers 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
No Thor, no Hulk.
Yeah.
But which character do you really feel like was the standout character for this show?
Spider-Man.
There was a lot of Spider-Man talk coming into a lot of Black Panther talk, but I'm just curious to see Where you guys fall?
Spider-Man was fantastic.
Well, I thought he was too, but really he wasn't in there a whole terrible amount.
But for the time that he was in,
he stole the show in the scenes that he was in.
I can't really say honestly that
I loved how strong he was. That was awesome.
Like that there was one. I thought everything blended really, really well. I mean, it definitely had more levity than the last movie, Winter Soldier, definitely a Captain America movie. Right. But there was a lot more. I mean, obviously a bigger cast, a lot more levity though, in like almost perfect timing, like with the whole deal of him kissing what's her face, and then them in the back seat of the car. Just their interaction in general.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Falcon and Bucky.
Oh yeah.
So
every scene was great. I can't think of a scene where I was like, "Oh man, why'd they do that?"
I feel like I want to watch it again because I'm curious to see how the pacing is affected with the second watching.
The battle scene between them all was fantastic.
It was well done. I was worried about
Ant-Man,
that scene.
like how they used Ant-Man. That was hilarious and clever, and I really, really enjoyed it. Like I next to Rusty, I was talking. I'm like, almost like wouldn't that be hilarious if they did something to, and they actually took it there and did the homage. If you have seen the movie, obviously you know we're talking about when Ant-Man was huge, and they did the at with Spider-Man wrapping around the knees. So,
have you seen that old movie?
Yeah, that old movie, Empire Strikes Back. So, Black Panther was good in it. I mean, I don't know that there was a character that was not. I mean, Black Widow, but she's just.
It's funny. They're to the point now where you can never see Scarlett Johansson's face whenever that character's actually performing any of the feats that she has to perform.
Right.
Because I think they've just got her so. That train is really loud tonight.
Yeah.
Is that a different kind of train?
I think the back door's open, right?
Oh, really? It sounds like it's right behind me.
It is.
It is technically
a block and a half. So.
I know, but I was like, I wonder if that's like a steam engine or something. But anyway, whatever. They've got her going at such an enormous rate now that I don't think it's possible to get Scarlett Johansson to actually do most of those moves. They have
Probably not.
They have to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mike, did you have a character that you really felt like that?
I don't know. I said Spider-Man right there at the beginning, but Doug's right. I mean, every single one of the characters did exactly what that character needed to do in this movie. That's the key to that, is like every single one of them filled their role perfectly. So the time that they were on screen, they did exactly what they needed to do. You know, Black Panther filled this kind of serious, like pullback, kind of looking at everything, aspect of it. Spider-Man brought the fun to the thing. Ant-Man brought his comedic, like just back talk kind of thing to it. Vision did a fantastic job of pulling out this kind of like, how do I be human kind of thing. Like, there were so many good parts for every single one of the characters that it's like it's hard to say which one was better than the other, because they all did their part so well. Even in the small screen time that they had, they did such a good job. I mean, even Marissa Tomei did a fantastic job. I mean, I love that they made her young and then played on it. They made Aunt May young and played on it, and that's fantastic. I hope they keep doing that with Sony when they make that movie, because I know she's supposed to still be Aunt May, but I hope they keep playing on that idea that she's young and hot kind of thing.
Yeah, there was a couple things.
How old is Marissa Tomei?
Just about Spider-Man there.
Probably in her 40s.
With that interaction. I bet she's in her 50s.
Probably close to 50.
But like the goggles, and the cutting out the sensory, so allows him to focus because he notices so much. That's something I never thought about.
51.
That's something I never noticed about or thought about with Spider-Man before.
Yeah.
But I was pleased with Spider-Man. I thought it was interesting. I think we could see more of it. I hope we don't go back and do an origin story, because they said he has powers about 6 months. Hope the movie we get from Marvel is not a re-origin story of that, because we know because we know where he's going to end up. He's going to end up with those Underoos costume. You know what I mean? Let's start right now with the costume that Tony Stark just gave him, and have him make a name for himself then. But I was really impressed with how strong he was. But for me, the one and maybe the reason why the character I'm going to talk about really surprised me is because I was already mentally sort of prepared for how great Spider-Man was going to be, because everybody had said. And I was already I went and did a little bit of research on Black Panther because I didn't feel like I was well versed enough with what all that was. So I was kind of curious to see what it was. So I watched a couple of videos and read up some Wikipedia articles and so forth on Black Panther. But to me, the one character that really shined through in this installment or iteration was Falcon. I just thought Falcon was phenomenal. And to me, it's a lesson in patience. You know, the character Sam. It's Sam. Yeah. You know, he was introduced in the first the second Captain America. He was introduced in Winter Soldier and really wasn't fully utilized. And and obviously I see the Russo brothers knew that this was something they were going to have to roll out a little bit slower. He had his little cameo in Ant-Man, which he did a really great job with. And then we had him here, and like we're seeing like a fully fledged Avenger now, with the ability to use his wings to like block bullets. I love the fact that they got Red Hawk. Is it Red Hawk? Red Tail.
Oh, I can't remember his little drone.
Red Wing. I love the fact they got Red Wing actually in there, because Red Wing was a staple of Falcon. I mean, a real pet Falcon was always a part of Falcon. And they found a way to sort of work that into it. I love that interaction between him and Black Widow. Just call him by its name. I didn't save you, he did. But that's all Stark technology. That's all Iron Man technology, just reiterated and or reutilized, I guess, in that Falcon suit. But I mean, just like the quick draw, the guns. So he had the machine guns that would just come out of his hands automatically, and just being able to, I don't know, I just was really impressed with his character. And then the scenes that he was in, I thought he held his own easily. I mean, you could tell that he was a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he is Captain America's roadie. You know, if roadie, he is War Machine for Captain America, essentially, more so than Winter Soldier or Bucky currently is.
Yeah, Don Cheadle was looking old in that movie.
He really was. Yeah,
he did not look good.
I find it weird that you focused on him.
Who?
Falcon. I
guess because I was prepared for Black Panther, I was prepared for Spider-Man. I wasn't prepared for how much Falcon we were going to get and how well it was going to be pulled off.
Yeah.
It was like a pleasant surprise more than anything else.
I thought that he did great in the last movie. I mean, I thought that they had, pretty much instant, like he fit in perfect.
Yeah, But I mean, it's Falcon. Like it's not. He was never one of my favorite superheroes. He wasn't one I even knew a whole lot about, other than the fact that eventually he becomes Captain America for a while.
But for the role, I mean, for their iteration and the way that they're telling the story, I mean, it all
great chemistry with all of them. Like the scene with him and Bucky in the car.
Yeah.
Hey, can you scoot your seat up a little bit? No.
I hate you.
I hate you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's funny. Just to be able to be willing to sit in a VW Bug with a guy who has superpowers and has a vibranium arm, who at any point can snap, and still be willing to be like, I don't have my wings on, I don't have my guns with me, I'm just a normal dude sitting in a car right now. I'm going to tell you no. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think he can snap whenever he wants. He's got to be turned on.
Okay, you're right.
His program is activated.
Yeah. We know this because we've seen the scenes and so forth. But I mean,
doesn't he know that at that point?
Do you think they truly understand? I mean, they don't have the red book at that point. They don't know the code. They don't. I mean, they know that there's some brain melding going on there, but
no, I bet they know.
But still, he's unstable.
They knew he killed. If they knew that he killed Iron Man's parents, they probably knew how. Maybe not the actual code, but they knew that it would be a special set of words that would.
Captain may have known that.
Yeah. There's no. I mean, I still don't think that's the big plot hole. Like, I just don't understand how we're just supposed to believe that he would know that, other than the fact that Black Widow did release all those things from S.H.I.E.L.D. at the end of Winter Soldier, and they have been trying to actively track him down ever since then. So, I mean, I could kind of see maybe he's picking up things, one or two, or sort of looking into any crime where the Winter Soldier may have been involved to try to track clues down or whatever. So he may have figured it out. I do think it's a little difficult to believe that Steve Rogers, the Boy Scout that Steve Rogers is, would not have let Tony know at some point or another. But I guess if he was really afraid that Tony would go off the rails about it, then maybe he wouldn't.
Right.
Overall, I was really pleased with the whole entire movie, and I think that they did a much better job getting me to believe that two good guys would end up fighting each other. Than the other movie that I just watched 2 months ago to get me to believe that two good guys were going to fight each other.
The one thing I thought was I didn't know if I liked it or I kind of liked it, the whole Baron Zemo thing and I guess it kind of makes sense to make it in this instance. Russo's trying to go a little bit more real world with the concept of Zemo. The original Baron Zemo basically looked like a purple like Cobra Commander mask over his head and was an evil scientist. So, I don't know where they'll take that character. Surely he's going to have more to do in additional movies.
Dead, so.
No, he's not dead. He's with Bilbo Baggins. Yep. So, which I'm assuming they'll do more with that character too, because why would you hire Martin Freeman to have basically a minute of screen time?
I don't know. I think there's a little bit. The Marvel movies are getting so large at this point that I would think a lot of people just want to be a part of that.
Well,
It's not Star Wars yet.
No, I'm not saying that wouldn't want to be a part of it, but
maybe he's going to play a bigger role. And
that's what I'm saying. Is
he could end up in the Ragnarok movie or something like that?
Will he kind of take that Coulson role at this point in future films? I don't know, but I'm assuming that he would. So, overall, I was very, very pleased. It's interesting that they didn't go the whole route that somebody actually got killed. That they deviated from that, and which I'm fine with. I don't have an issue with that. For their telling of the Civil War story. But
Cap's gone. Cap's gone.
Well, yeah.
He's not technically gone.
Well, you don't think Tony will respect his sort of... he gave him the cell phone. It was like, if you ever need us, we're here, but...
Wasn't he in the... After credit scene, he was the one that went to everybody, right?
Well, he rescued them off the raft, yeah, as he should have, and then he was in Wakanda, with Bucky, putting him in the deep freeze.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll stay in Wakanda?
Who? Cap?
Cap.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably, I don't know. We'll see. So,
what's the next movie that comes out?
Doctor Strange.
Okay. Oh, well, after that,
Guardians
2.
I'm just trying to figure out where they'll wrap
Black Panther. After that, November of next year.
Do you think we'll get a Black Panther team-up movie? It's not just going to be a Black Panther story.
They do have to fill in the backstory.
Bucky's there in deep freeze.
That's true.
So, they'll if they're going to come looking for the Winter Soldier,
they need to clear up Black Panther's origin story.
I think they did. I'm fine with this. No. I don't need to go back and see him eat a heart-shaped leaf to think that he gets superpowers. I'm fine with it.
No, they need it.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
You need to know more about Black Panther?
I don't need a whole movie about it, but we need to know the reasoning behind it. No one knows. No normal moviegoer knows that vibranium comes from his country.
Well, they said that.
No one knows that.
They said that.
They never said that all of it comes from there.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was in there about the vibranium coming from Wakanda. That's what brought them their
isolation. That's what allows them to be isolated because they have enough money from their vibranium. And it was in it was in Avengers 2 when Ultron goes, he talks about how this is like $1 billion worth of vibranium that he's going to use to make this drill, and it all came from Wakanda.
Yeah, I still think we need a little.
I think you'll get something.
You need to have a little bit of a flashback.
Who's doing the Black Panther movie?
I'm not sure who's directing it, but
I don't know.
Because the Russos are doing Infinity War, I believe.
I don't know.
I think they are.
Both parts?
I think so. I don't know if they're directing or they're writing or they're doing both, but I believe that's...
When does Ragnarok come out? It's later this year, right?
Mm-mm.
It's next year?
I think it's next
May?
year.
Next May?
I think it's next year.
I'm kind of excited for it. I wouldn't mind seeing but that's what I was kind of getting at with the Black Panther movie. We're getting a Thor movie, but it's not really a Thor movie. It's a Thor Hulk movie.
Right.
We're getting a team up movie, and I would almost rather see more of these team up movies. I think will propel the story further.
And I think you'll probably get some of that in Black Panther too.
So I think he wakes up the Winter Soldier and gets him to help him.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They have to rebuild his arm. Uh-oh.
You're all right.
Oh, we lost our monitor there.
I need the enchanting
Let's see.
visualization there. Are you looking for the list?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. There's like a movie like
Inhumans is coming out there in between the two Infinity Wars.
It's delayed or canceled.
Where are we at?
The Inhumans.
2016, Deadpool came out, Batman, Civil War, X-Men Apocalypse, Suicide Squad is August 5th, November 4th, Doctor Strange, Sinister 6, November 11th.
That's canceled.
Is it canceled?
Is that not the Spider-Man movie?
No, the Sinister 6 movie's canceled.
Oh, well, Wolverine comes out March 3rd.
Well, we don't. I'm just talking about just within the Marvel,
Guardians,
the Marvel Disney.
Guardians May 5th, Wonder Woman June 23rd. Another Fantastic Four movie that's got to be canceled.
Yeah,
Ragnarok comes out July 28th next year.
of next year.
Then Black Panther on November 3rd.
Oh,
and
Black Panther comes out after Thor.
Yep,
Yeah.
Okay.
Thor in July and Black
Panther in August?
in November.
In November.
And then Black Panther comes out November 3rd, November 17th.
Of
so just
2017.
Yeah. So 2 weeks later, November 17th, Justice League. I don't know what's going on with my voice.
I don't know.
I'm losing it all of a sudden. Female lead Spider-Man spinoff?
I don't know.
But yeah. And then the Flash movie comes out in 2018.
I don't.
Okay,
honestly,
do we want to talk about that? I was going to talk about it next week, but if we want to talk about it now, there's been pretty big changes in the DCU. Obviously, the financial backers are not excited about.
After the debacle that was Batman versus Superman.
So Zack Snyder is still directing the Justice League movie,
right?
I think.
But the I can't remember which villain it is, but the villain was very unimpressive. Who's rumored to come out? And
Is that Darkseid?
No, I don't believe so.
Is it that
It's not Darkseid.
thing at the end of the movie?
No.
Or that was in the deleted scene?
No. It was Mike, you'll tell us in a minute. I don't know my DC well enough to know. They're predicting that Darkseid will be in Justice League Part 2 because there's going to be 2 parts to Justice League. They're thinking the first one, Superman's not going to wake up during the first one.
Right.
Henry Cavill won't show up till the second one. But they've sort of demoted Zack Snyder as the lead executive producer, and they've given the job to
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. So he's going to become the new creative force.
Actor, director,
the new Kevin
Savior.
Feige. But he's not rewriting he didn't rewrite the Batman or the Batman movie that he's supposedly working on has like a ton, or like the whole Rogues Gallery. What?
Steppenwolf
is the bad guy? That's right.
Isn't he a general of Darkseid's?
Yes.
But I mean, I think we're going to see them beat him, and then understanding that. Oh no!
Yesterday's reports that Steppenwolf will play the main villain in the Justice League Part 1.
Currently, like Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Magic carpet ride.
Currently filming with director Zack Snyder. Got a shot in the arm today as heroic Hollywood has followed up. Apparently, an early portion of the film will detail a battle which took place centuries ago when Darkseid was turned back by Amazon's Atlanteans and mankind. This battle will be the setup for the 2 Justice League films, as Steppenwolf and presumably later Darkseid is on Earth in search of the 3 mother box Darkseid left behind.
Well, sorry, one of them's built into Cyborg now, so good luck with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get a drink. Why are you guys talking about
All right, that's fine.
I right now do not care one iota at this point about the DC films. Like, my level of excitement has just, not that it was like incredibly high anyways. I didn't really was one way or the other, but it's just kind of BVS just took a lot of that out of me. So, maybe they'll get something back with Suicide Squad. I mean, some of these trailers coming out for it, I mean, it looks like it might be okay. You don't think it's going to be okay?
No.
At all?
No, not at all.
You just think it's going to be a Harley Quinn Fap Fest?
Oh, yeah.
And just waiting.
100%. And that's the thing is, like, and at this point, I'm not even sure they're trying for anything different than that.
Right.
I've not been impressed with anything I've seen. Okay, here's the thing that they're scrambling. They're so far behind the 8 ball, they're scrambling. And the thing is like they're even trying to cover it with smoke and mirrors. When Deadpool came out and received such a wonderful response, such pleasing response, the creators of Suicide Squad was like, okay, well, maybe there's a chance for a movie to do well, because it's Suicide Squad is a version of Deadpool. I mean, that's what they want, is sort of the good guy, bad guy doing good things or whatever, just like Deadpool. But the thing that people liked about Deadpool was the humor, was the interest level, was the engagement, the excitement. Well, then they realized, every funny thing we've done, we've already showed in the trailers. So then, early reports were saying they were doing all these additional reshoots and script rewrites after the movie is 80% of the way done, mind you, in order to add more humor into the movie.
But then they denied it.
That's what was happening.
That would be weird if they did that. I would almost feel like you would be able to tell.
I believe they did it. I believe that the reaction was so poor that they're still chasing their own tail, that they have to deny it.
These last couple of trailers kind of got my energy up a little bit more for wanting to.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, the things that they filmed during those reshoots are the things we're seeing in these new trailers.
It could be.
Which makes me think that we're not really getting any different of a movie.
I think Will Smith's going to ruin it.
You think?
Mm-hmm. I think Will Smith has the ability to either save the movie or totally destroy it.
I mean, he could pull his, like, Men in Black comedy like out, and he kind of does that when he was like, the fire guy? I can't remember his name, but anyways, he gets him all riled up.
Nobody knows because it's DC characters nobody likes.
He says we're cool, right? I was just getting you riled up. Like, that's funny. Like, that's the Men in Black Will Smith that this movie needs.
Right.
So we'll see if that comes out.
I hope so. I hope the Joker's good.
I can't stand this version of the Joker. Like,
I feel like every time I hear him is that he's trying to be Mark Hamill's Joker. Like,
but he doesn't have the look. He doesn't have the. I don't know. I don't see the nuance that you would see in a Mark Hamill Joker.
Well, I think he's trying to characterize that character. He's not going to look like it because it's not really his choice.
Right.
But I think as a character, I think he's trying to pull out that, I don't know, that craziness that style Joker had. Not so much like an evil craziness as much as like a fun craziness kind of thing. Like, Heath Ledger's Joker was an evil kind of crazy. Like you could really see it, like, in his eyes. You were like, that dude is, like, really messed up kind of thing. Like, but this Joker's like, he's like this funny crazy kind of thing, and then you think he's just a funny guy, and then he kills you.
I don't see that we've seen it. I don't know that we've seen enough of that to make that.
I know, but that's kind of what I'm pulling from what I've seen.
So would you be happy with that sort of Joker?
Well, it will fit this movie, because if they're trying to make a funny movie, it's going to work. You know what I'm saying? What?
Yeah, I just disagree.
You don't think that would fit this movie?
I don't know. Honestly,
a funny Joker in a funny action movie wouldn't work.
I don't think we're going to get a funny action movie to begin with. But
how do you not think it's going to be hilarious?
Because I don't.
Okay. You might not think it's hilarious, but they're going to try and make it hilarious.
Well, I think they went back to make it funnier, but
try to do a dark.
That's humor. What they're doing. They're trying to do dark. It's not gleeful in any way, shape, and form.
I know that, but what I'm saying is that there was never a point that, like, Ledger's Joker was ever to the point of, like, hysterically funny kind of thing.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that they weren't going that direction with Nicholson's Joker. I mean, it's not Cesar Romero's Joker or whatever his name is. Caesar,
right? Cesar Romero.
Nicholson had some,
but I feel like they try to toe the line with both of those versions. But I just think, to me, what I see is like animalistic Joker. I don't see crazy Joker, but I see this like, I'm a bad guy who does bad things sort of Joker, and I think the Joker's just so hard to get on the screen to begin with.
Joker has to be unpredictable. That's the key thing to the Joker all the time. You have to think he's going to be doing one thing, but something else is going to happen.
Right.
You have to do that with the Joker, or it doesn't ever sell.
I mean, when Heath Ledger showed up at the end of the Batman movie in the candy striper costume, I mean, that was good. That was interesting.
Or when he kills all the guys that help him rob the bank.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect him to shoot that last guy.
Hey, the boss told me that I.
Yeah, that's you don't expect that. Like, that's really good.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'll probably go see it in theaters.
It's not that far away.
It's really not,
3 months.
I'll see that before I see X-Men.
Oh yeah. 100%.
X-Men comes out in like 2 weeks?
The X-Men movie looks so bad.
It is not going to be good.
It's terrible. I love X-Men. Russo's did say that if they could bring one character from the existing Marvel properties into the MCU, they wanted Wolverine. They wanted Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
May 27th.
Of course they want Wolverine.
May 27th is when Apocalypse comes out.
Like a whole second levels of Avengers going.
I don't care because Rogue One comes out. Like, seriously,
yeah.
I could care less about the rest of
You'll
the
get
movies.
your new trailer.
That's in July, right?
Yep.
2
months.
I really don't
care.
care.
Are you going to England?
Yes, I am.
I don't care about X-Men. I don't care about Suicide Squad. I don't care about Doctor Strange.
That's so weird. Like, I really don't care at all about Doctor Strange.
Neither do I.
It looks like it's going to be good.
I don't even think it looks.
I don't know.
I mean, great. It was a teaser trailer. It's a teaser. I get it, but I just.
Noah's out. There's that blood during the operating sequence when it's in his hands. And then I'm like, dude, he's a doctor. There's going to be blood. So then he opens up his eyes. And then he's like wrecked in the car. And there's blood coming down his face. He was like, I don't, no way. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. All right. You're brave. Good job, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'll go see it just to support the franchise, but
because it really needs your ticket. It really needs your ticket sales.
I went and saw X-Men 3. I paid money for X-Men 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
There was absolutely nothing else going on that weekend, apparently.
Well, after X-Men 2, I mean, come on. You're like, oh, this has got to be fantastic.
You liked X2?
X-Men, how could you not?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I can't even tell you which ones are which.
X-Men 2 was the one with Stryker, where they take him to the base.
Jean Grey almost dies.
She does die at the end of the movie. Yeah, she holds back the water.
3. I know. I have
3 is the one where she comes back to life, and they've got the plastic. All the plastic. It's the one with the Juggernaut, and he says, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch."
Haven't seen it. You know what?
He steals like the E-bomb world, the voiceover. You remember that? Yeah. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. They steal that from E-bomb's world and put it in the movie.
I haven't seen it.
Atrocious.
I haven't seen 3. I have. You know what? I've never seen any of the Wolverine movies.
Well, you're not missing anything.
I haven't even seen any of the new X-Men movies. I haven't seen Days of Future Past.
Oh, you're missing out.
I haven't seen the Origin one. I haven't seen any.
The first one's okay. Days of Future Past is really good.
What's
it called? Year One?
No. What was the first one when they were young?
X-Men. I don't even know.
It was Year One.
It might be.
It's not Year One.
I don't know.
Maybe Year One is the comic book.
It was pretty good. I mean, wasn't Kevin Bacon was the bad guy in that, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he was the bad. That was kind of weird.
Yes, because he's in Russia and he.
Yeah, and Magneto kills him with a quarter.
He has the ability of absorbing other mutants' powers.
Yeah.
A very rogue-like power.
Magneto kills him with a quarter at the end of the movie.
It's tough.
So
I've seen that scene.
Yeah,
where he pushes it goes real slow through his head.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Sorry. So
is it called Year One?
First Class.
First Class.
First Class. X-Men
That's it,
First
yeah.
Class.
I was looking for the list of
Yeah.
the movies. Another
It was pretty
movie,
good. It was all right. X-Men 2 by far the best of them all. So I don't know why you don't remember X-Men 2.
I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I feel like I let you down in some way, shape, or form.
In that era of comic book movies, far and away.
X-Men, X2, X-Men The Last Stand. That was
Yes.
3. X-Men Origins Wolverine, X-Men First Class. Then excuse me.
The Wolverine.
The Wolverine, and then X-Men Days of Future Past. Then Deadpool is in this list, and then X-Men Apocalypse.
Right.
So,
And Days of Future Past and First Class were both done by Bryan Singer. Bryan Singer did the first X-Men movie and then X-Men 2, and then left to do the Superman reboot, Superman Returns, and then some other guy took over to do
The Last Stand.
The Last Stand, which was atrocious.
It was directed by Brett Ratner.
Yeah. It was
I
atrocious.
feel like he's a guy.
He's a guy.
I'm pretty sure he's done some other things.
Let's see what he has directed here.
Brett Ratner.
Let's see. Ratner was under consideration to direct X-Men, the first one, and Superman Returns, although both were eventually directed by Bryan Singer. Let's see. He directed Money Talks, Rush Hour, The Family Man. Oh, I like that movie. Rush Hour 2, Red Dragon, After the Sunset, Prison Break, the pilot episode. Then X-Men. He directed a couple episodes of Entourage, Rush Hour 3,
Rush Hour
21, which is that movie with Kevin Spacey, where they're the blackjack kids.
I
from
never watched it.
It's pretty good. New York, I Love You, Skyline, Tower Heist, Horrible Bosses, Mother's Day, Mirror Mirror, Jersey Boys, Hercules, Horrible Bosses 2. He was the executive producer on The Revenant.
Okay.
And then True Crimes. So
he brought some money together for The Revenant.
He directed Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC, the music video.
Cool.
All right.
Cool. Hey, before I'm not sure how much. Maybe we got a little bit of time here.
Uh-huh.
Before we move on, though, I feel like there's some.
Run DMC's pretty cool.
We got to switch gears here a little bit because we had a podcast 105 right before the Indiana primaries, and that is that is finished. So if you're still with us and you're not a comic book fan or a comic book movie fan, but you want to hear the polls, we're going to finally talk about that now. So,
okay.
So the state of the U.S. primaries right now for the Republican and Democratic debate or political offices are such as presidential offices, such as that the Democrats still have two people running. Hillary and Bernie are still running.
Bernie Sanders,
and he actually got a lot more of Indiana than what anybody thought he was going to get. Really sort of revitalized his campaign. Obviously, we talked mostly about the Republican side of things when we talked in 105, and we made some predictions here on how the polls were going to go. Now, we were all correct except for Mike. We were all 100% right except for Mike, and we completely called it correctly except for Mike.
I came really, really close.
And Doug actually called it really, really close. I was I overshot, overzealous, but I think I had the general swing of it down. Unlike Mike. Do you have it pulled up there, Mike?
No, I was looking. I saw an article and I kind of wanted to read it real fast about Bernie Sanders could still win the Democratic nomination.
No.
It says no, seriously.
No. Seriously.
That was posted 2 days ago.
Okay, well, while you're reading that real quick, Doug,
he still can.
Donald Trump won
the
Indiana state primary in such fashion to the point that Ted Cruz actually has suspended his campaign.
I'm surprised he dropped out at that point.
Me too.
I thought that he'd stay through. It's weird. Like it seemed very strange to me. Like there's something outside of just that loss that prompted him. What that is, I don't know.
Did you see him talk to the people from Marion?
Yeah, the Trump people.
The Trump people from Marion.
Boy, they made Indiana look great.
And the thing is like you almost saw
where he
by
walks across the street.
Yeah, and he almost.
I
by
think
the end of
that's a plant. That had to be a plant.
No. I mean, there's people that I
don't
work with in
believe that.
Marion
I
who
think
knew.
it was a plant.
I believe
No,
those
I will
idiots.
show you the things on my Facebook feed that came in after that, because the people that I worked with in Marion, some of those guys they were recognized and talked to and
Yeah.
were aware of. So I don't think it was a plant. I think to the point now these plants are sort of felt. They're getting.
They don't have to do it anymore.
They don't have
because
to
there's
do it
other
anymore
people
because there's
doing
enough
it.
people thinking that that's what you do. They're following that lead. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. By the end of that discussion that he had, I kind of felt like, well, he just kind of had to give up. Like he said that he just looked like, forget it. I mean, he did not, because we've talked about that on here. I mean, I think Ted Cruz has a way of speaking with people that I think he has a delivery that's pretty solid and
Really?
I do. I'm not. It's used car salesman, and it's very.
He comes off as snidely. I don't know. Just
Well, that's what I'm saying. Used car salesman. I mean, not like a nice used car salesman. Like,
kind of condescending, and I don't.
well, anyway, I got the real distinct impression watching it, and I watched it a few times just to sort of. Because I was just like, come on, guys, it's disrespectful just to act that way to another human being, let alone someone who's actually trying to become the president of the United States. But they're within their right to do that.
When I say plant, as far as relating, I'm not saying that those guys were hired by Ted Cruz. What I'm saying is that I wouldn't be surprised if somebody from the Cruz campaign would have either encouraged those guys to stand there because they knew Ted was going to be in the area, and they wanted to try to have some kind of interaction to make Ted look like, he could convince these people, and it blew up in his face.
Well, then why would they film? Why would they
plan
that?
it? Why would they?
Why would his campaign? Because if he thought that he could make himself look really good or make the Trump people look really stupid, which clearly it blew up and it didn't matter.
Well, yeah, it didn't matter in the end, but they did seem really stupid to me. Like,
well, I mean, he's not playing to the highest common denominator, Ryan.
Apparently. Anyway, so he has since then stepped down. Governor Kasich stuck around for a couple of days, but has then pretty much. I mean,
he's suspended the day after.
Yeah, maybe
it was a couple days.
I think
it wasn't the day after.
Oh,
because everybody was like, "Why is he still in it?
Why is he still doing it?" But he's since then suspended his. So at least the Republicans then are now unified behind a crazy person.
Well, Paul Ryan just came out and supported him after he said he wasn't going to.
He said he wanted to meet with him first, so they met.
Well, I don't really care what Paul Ryan has to
Right.
say. That's not going to. And obviously, most of the people on this planet don't care what Paul Ryan or in this country.
You don't like Paul Ryan?
No, I really don't. I don't. I mean,
like Paul Ryan.
I feel like he was moving in one direction, and then he was just like, you know what? I guess it's easier to take the money and be the establishment and be done.
I don't know.
I don't feel like he's particularly conservative.
There, in this vein, there's a book coming out that I want to read in a few weeks. It's called Confessions of Congressman X.
Okay.
And it's a current congressperson,
So it's Rand Paul.
rumored to be a Democrat.
Oh, but it's not Rand Paul?
No, a congressperson, not a senator. And basically, I was trying to see if I could find some of the assertions that the guy makes.
Screw the next
in the
generation, and Harry reads a pompous ass.
Yeah, basically, he's just saying, the American people are stupid. I spend my time basically collecting money. I don't read the bills that I vote on because I don't care. It's all about just me keeping my office, keeping my power to get lavished on by corporations and other interests that need my vote. And he basically just pretty much everything that we already know, and most people who are cynical enough, and kind of understand how the system works, what we think. So the guy's just pretty much confirming that exists. So
if he's not willing to put his name on it, I don't believe he actually wrote it.
Rand Paul didn't write it.
I'm not saying Rand Paul. I'm saying anybody. I'm saying this isn't. This is some crazy guy probably living in a cabin that's writing it as.
Well, no, there's
I need
some other news
sort
sources.
of proof.
There probably is in the book. I would assume that there
might be a
some
clue or something.
Then there.
Well, he's a current congressman. He doesn't want to blow his chances of getting reelected.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's not saying anything flattering in any way, shape, or form.
But that's the whole point. He's saying
then why bother write the book?
Because as a joke to make money. If he truly thinks that the American people are that freaking stupid, then why not just come out in public and be like, "Ha ha, you're a bunch of idiots. I can write this book and tell you exactly what we're doing, what I'm doing, and it won't matter."
I think it's a good idea.
You think it's a good idea to write that book?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Mike, if this is really his motivation is to sit there and just collect a check,
then he's part of the problem. But
I understand.
At least
but
he's
then
admitting it.
But the book doesn't really admit anything.
Yeah, it does. It's like,
all right, let's put term limits in immediately.
Well, who's got to vote for term limits? The people that are in office that don't want to have term limits are the ones that get to vote on whether they have term limits. That's why you'll never have term limits.
It's executive order, that guy.
That wouldn't happen.
Why not? We executive order everything else.
Because that's one instance where both parties would stand up, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Trump will do it. Who knows? He's a loose cannon.
He's Andrew Jackson.
He said a few very interesting things. I mean, he basically said that the U.S. cannot default because we print our own money and we could effectually just print our way out of debt.
Which is true.
It is true. It would cause hyperinflation and would probably, as messed up as the economy is, would probably make things extremely painful for who knows how long.
Right.
At this point, though, it's extremely painful for me as is. So let's just do it and get it over with. And let's take care of it before my kids are old enough to realize the damage that we've done to this country.
Well,
or just absolve debt. Just be like, sorry, China, we're never paying you back.
Right.
Come get it.
Right. Well...
And then they can do the same thing to my...
it's really not even so much China as it is the private banks. The private bank.
We don't need them. Let's blow them up.
Well, that's true. We don't. So, in a way, Trump is right. The power to print money should lie with the Congress, but it's not. It should be based upon silver, which is what was originally within the Constitution.
Andrew Jackson's on the 20 because he fought the banks.
Right.
We're going to lose Andrew Jackson on the 20. So, eventually the banks have won.
Oh, I think they won a long time ago.
We need Andrew Jackson back.
So you're saying Trump is Andrew Jackson?
Trump is Andrew Jackson.
No American knows what silver's worth anymore.
An ounce?
There's a really funny video where this guy's on the street corner and he's got
Mark Dice.
He's got a Hershey bar in one hand and 10 ounces of silver in the other. He walks up to people and says, "I've got test here." He says, "I've got a brand new Hershey bar here or a 10-ounce silver bar. You can have one for free. Which one do you want?" Every single person took the chocolate bar.
What?
Every single one of them.
I think sometimes those might be set up because how stupid.
I would assume.
How stupid would you be?
Yeah, they're going to cut out the people that probably took the silver bar.
I would have grabbed the silver bar and then ran as fast as my...
Well, if it's that same guy, he supposedly, it's a video of him trying, and maybe it's true, of trying to pay for like a McDonald's or Arby's or Burger King meal with a 1 ounce gold coin. He's like, "Well, I don't have actual cash on me, but I'll give you this for my meal." And they refused to take the gold coin.
Where was that? I just read somewhere where
was like a couple years ago.
Some kid got in trouble for trying to buy something with a $2 bill.
Oh yeah, I saw that
in school.
I've got one in my pocket. $2 bill.
Up here.
I got a few of them at home. I got one in my desk drawer at school.
How a $2 bill got an 8th grader in hot water. 13-year-old girl in Houston, Texas, was arrested recently after she used a $2 bill given to her by her grandmother to purchase her lunch.
Why would you use that to buy your lunch, kid? Come on.
Additionally, along this kind of political vein, did you guys watch the PBS documentary Peace Officer?
No, haven't.
Did you hear about it?
I believe I heard about it. Tell me who it actually is.
It's I can't remember the guy's name, who's kind of at the center of it, but he basically he was a sheriff of, I don't know if it was Salt Lake, the county that Salt Lake City is in, or one of the big counties in Utah. He was the sheriff, and he started the first SWAT team there back in the 70s. And then the SWAT team, like...
Where at?
In Utah.
I thought SWAT started in L.A.
No, he started the first one there.
Oh, okay.
In that county.
Okay.
Back in the 70s. And within, like, maybe 10 years ago or so, that same SWAT team ended up killing his son-in-law. And it basically...
Did he deserve it? Was he a criminal?
You would just have to watch. To sum it up very quickly, basically, the son-in-law got in a fight with his wife, the guy's daughter, roughed her up a little bit. I don't know if he had emotional issues or was drunk, because I missed the very start of it. Called the police, and he said, "I just raped and beat my wife. Come get me." Two patrol cars go to the house. He's outside with the phone next to him, and he clearly is very disgruntled, and he fires a shot at a piece of plywood, like next to his truck or in his truck or something. Fires a shot. So the officers call for SWAT backup, and it escalates from there to the point where they had like 80-some officers there, helicopters in the air. The guy had a gun, and I guess I don't know if he had the gun to his head the entire time, but it basically just spiraled completely out of control. I mean, it just completely out of control. They at one point they shoot a mortar round at the guy, like a non-lethal mortar round, basically knock him out. He's laying over in his truck. Instead of just going in and grabbing him, then they wait an hour. He gets back up. And there were multiple times when they could have taken the guy out with no issue to him, but it finally ended with he was on the ground in front of his truck, basically half conscious. They threw 6 flashbang grenades on him, which, you know, anybody completely knock you out of your senses. And then a officer, I don't know if he was a sniper or what, shoots the guy in the head. And they claimed that the reason they shot him in the head is he was trying to shoot an officer. So the dad, who was the sheriff, I don't know if that was the impetus, but he goes through, and this sheriff traveled all over the country and was basically a CSI crime scene guy that reconstructed crime scenes for very well-known cases. And he went back and reconstructed the scenes and basically kind of disproved some of what the SWAT and office was saying. And so that kind of launched him on this quest to find all of these abuses and kind of and he talks about the militarization of America's police force and how he thinks that the police in America have gotten away from the original kind of intent of being a peace officer, always trying to resolve the situation peacefully as possible without immediately pushing to force and escalation. So it goes through all these different cases that he goes in and reconstructs them and shows basically how sloppy they are, number one, at doing their crime scene investigation, and two, how sometimes they bend or completely lie to cover up their use of force, and just how in general the tactics that they use are abusive, basically. So it's an interesting documentary. It makes you a little bit frustrated because, you know, we've seen the same, like they talk about the 1033 program that the Pentagon has, where they will give military grade equipment that's come back, you know, from overseas that they don't need. They give it for free to these different police and sheriff's departments with the caveat that you have to use this within 1 year of us giving it to you, or you have to give it back. So it automatically sets the stage and not use it in like training, but actually use it in a real life scenario. So it sets the stage where the police think, well, we've got this MRAP, armored vehicle, we have to use it. Even if they don't really need to use it, they have to use it in a situation or else they have to give it back.
Well, let them have it. If you don't need it in a year, you probably don't need it.
Well, they don't want to give it back because it's free. I mean, and that's what one of the ladies, they had a panel afterwards. She was like a sheriff in Seattle back in the big global, back when they had the world global meeting back in like 99, 2000 in Seattle when they had all the riots. And she basically said, we get all of our assault rifles from the military through that program. And she's like, because it's free. And because of budget cuts and budget restraints in most of these counties, you're not going to deny all this free equipment because you don't want your officers to go out and have to. They may want to buy their own equipment. It may be better, but they either can't afford it. I mean, most of them can't afford it, or the county can't afford to, pay them back if they purchase it. So they just take all this free largesse equipment from the federal government. So you had that unintended consequence of the militarization of the police force.
Unintended?
Well, you can argue that if it's unintended or not. But literally the mindset, like this one chief of police, he basically was saying that we can't train our officers to take the 10 to 15 seconds to think in a situation. Like they've got 5 seconds or less to think in these situations because pretty much their mindset is every situation they go into, somebody is going to kill them or might kill them. Sure. And I'm just like, that is a battlefield mentality. That is not a peace officer mentality. You should never go in with the mindset of whoever's on the other end of this situation is going to kill me.
I don't know, Doug. I have to do a little more personal introspective to really come to a conclusion here. But I will say, playing devil's advocate here a little bit, that I feel like these are public servants that are out to they don't make a ton of money. They're not going to retire with congressman benefits and pension and so forth.
Right.
But they are in a situation where they could be standing in between me, a law-abiding citizen who makes the correct choices for myself and my family and my neighbors, I hope, and somebody who isn't a law-abiding citizen, who isn't making the correct decisions. Now, granted, there may be lots of factors built into why they're not making those correct decisions. It could be values, morality, mental illness, mental distress, socioeconomic statuses, whether or not they can use the restroom at Target or not. There's tons of reasons of why they may or may not be making those poor decisions. But as for somebody who just is standing in between me and those people, I want them to go home to their families. I want them to make sure that they survive. I don't want them necessarily putting themselves at risk. So I'm kind of okay with them accessing that lizard brain. Now, granted, it may get me shot one day. I mean, they ever get called to my house or something like that, and I come around the corner, I feel obviously I'd be dead, and I would hope that the police officer who did it would feel terrible and feel responsible and remorseful and so forth. Yeah. Not a gladiator on a battlefield, which I think is what sometimes happens. But I mean, I want them to survive. I want them to be alive. I want them to be able to do their job. I don't think, because it's not a battle. It's not a battlefield.
I think everybody wants that, Ryan, but I don't think that mentality that you have is the right way to look at it, because you're putting them, the training that they're getting, it needs to change. That's the problem.
The training they're getting is battlefield training.
I understand.
They should protect themselves, but why are they going for their gun before they should be going to their taser? That would bring a person down just as quick, but not kill them, kind of thing.
I don't know. As somebody who's not on that side, I'm not asking that. I will say I had a police officer pull his gun on me. Yeah. When I was like 17 years old or 18 years old or whatever it was. I was at Dave's Video, and I set the alarm off, and I didn't turn the lights on. And when the police officer pulled up to the door because he thought somebody was breaking into the video store, I ran to the door to open the door to let him in, to let him know that, hey, it was me, I set the alarm off. And I ran directly towards a police officer who was behind his door and went for his gun before I realized you are being retarded. I mean,
Right.
And it was an honest mistake by me, and I never thought that guy's a jerk that he could have shot me. I recognize the situation I put him in.
You also need to understand too, Ryan, that what we're talking about. Well, what I'm talking about is not necessarily what you're talking about is a standard patrol officer. What I'm talking about is SWAT teams, special teams that counties have, whose original role is to only come out in the most dire circumstances that exist. Active shooter, hostage situations.
Well, the situation you stated was an active shooter situation. He had a gun.
Right.
I was with you 100%.
And nobody
he shot a plywood by his truck.
Nobody was disagreeing with that. The guy's armed. We need additional backup. That was not the issue. The issue is that the escalation, the mentality and the escalation when they did not. There were people that were willing to step in to try to talk to the guy, to negotiate with the guy, that were not allowed to talk to the guy because the police, the SWAT, wanted to have complete control.
Oh, nice.
So it's what I'm talking about is the misuse of the training and tactics of those of the. How the concept of the Barney Fife patrol officer is getting shrunk, and everything is gravitating more towards the special unit. Like they talked about, SWAT teams are used now more and more frequently to deliver just basic warrants. I mean, most of the time a lot of times for drug-related charges.
But
so
why do
SWAT
you think that is?
Or DEA.
Why do you think that is?
Well, their argument is that because everybody out there is armed to the teeth like they're Russian mafia. That's their argument, which I don't know that there's just any statistical evidence that that's the case at all. But they just...
Do you think there was one guy that didn't go home to his kids last year because he served a warrant all by himself?
Possibly.
Do you think there was two?
I don't know.
Like, at what point do you think that serving a warrant is no longer considered a safe? How many of these guys just serving warrants? They get shot at through the door.
To serve a warrant, though, does it take 6 officers in battle armor?
Guys, don't get mad at me.
So you
I'm
get
just
shot.
asking.
So someone gets shot because he pulled somebody over for speeding.
Sure.
So every time now they have to draw their gun, have me get out of the car, walk backwards, have me put on my knees, put handcuffs on me before they issue me my ticket.
Is that what happens?
No, I'm just saying.
But that's the slippery
slope. That would be the
slope.
escalation process of that situation. If it happened once, we need to go to the extreme.
I didn't say once. I said, did it happen one time? Did it happen 2 times? And then I asked you guys the question.
The point:
how many times does it have to happen?
It could happen
before it justifies giving 2 guys in a shotgun a chance to deliver a warrant.
The people within that community or that state should make that determination.
Are they?
No, they're either allowing elected or unelected individuals to clearly make that determination, which are probably
by letting your local sheriff that is an elected position make that determination. They are electing for that to happen. They just have to elect a different sheriff next time that doesn't do that.
Assuming that's the case.
Most of the Americans that we're talking about whenever we do this don't know one right from the next. They don't. They're not studying their own freedoms themselves. They're giving this stuff away hand over hand.
I'm sure we could go find the statistics on how many officers were killed in serving a warrant. I'm sure that we could find that out. Because my argument will always be it doesn't matter. You don't trample the rights of the whole just because of 1 or 2 terrible situations.
Do you think the police officers then don't have rights themselves to have an unimpeded workspace or a space where they may not? I mean, I have the right to swing my arm like this, Doug. If you walk into it and get punched, that's your fault.
If I know that you're swinging, that there's the potential for you to swing your arm.
What if I sneak up behind you and I'm just walking at you when you're not paying attention?
Okay, so I need to bring 6 or 7 guys with me.
Again. I don't want to see it because I think we're paying these people way too.
It's called threat. What they're supposed to be doing are threat assessments, but they're not.
No, because they're a bunch of
Because it's easier to be just like, hey, let's cowboy up and take an army to a house.
Easier or safer?
Both.
What's wrong with safer?
Because, Ryan, when you escalate the amount of weapons and the amount of factors with more and more people, all it takes is
I've
one
seen
guy.
a Batman movie, dude. I understand escalation. We get bulletproof vests, they get armor-piercing bullets, all right? I get that. All I'm saying is that we should probably continue this conversation next week.
No.
I want to. I love talking freedom and liberties and playing the bad guy, apparently. So, thanks you guys so much for listening this week. I hope you had a chance to see Civil War. And comment below or comment on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Buffalo Brotherhood, and let us know what you thought of the movie. If you agree with me that the Falcon was the best part of the movie, let me know. If you agree with me the police officers should be safe and Doug and Mike are mean people, then by all means, you can not let us know that. That's fine. But you can tweet me at BuffaloCast. You can tweet the show at BOBcast Nation. You can tweet Mike at FuMan220, 2 O's, 2 N's, and the number 2. You can tweet Doug or Snapchat him or something. Instagram him at Refried Evil. It's been a great week, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. We're still working on our YouTube project from last week, so if you missed that episode on the YouTube channel, it'll be up shortly. Bye, guys.